Let me tell you a secret, one that the powerful have guarded for centuries. Emotion is the leash around your neck. The more you care, the tighter it pulls. The more you feel, the easier you bleed. The world doesn't belong to those who love the hardest. It belongs to those who can walk away without turning back. Caring is a currency, and the one who spends less always controls the market. The one who feels less owns the room. You think love wins wars? No. Detachment does. You think empathy earns respect? No. Fear does. If you want control, you have to kill the need to be understood. Burn the desire to be liked. Bury the compulsion to explain yourself. Because the less you care, the more others do. That's the paradox. The world doesn't belong to the loud or the kind. It belongs to the one who feels the least and sees the most. The one who watches quietly while others shout for validation. The one who waits in stillness while others scramble for approval. Care is not a virtue. It's a weapon others use against you. Every time you overextend your empathy, you hand someone the map to your emotions. They learn your fears, your triggers, your weaknesses, and soon, they'll use them all. People are slaves to their emotions, their need to be liked, to be accepted, to be seen. They polish their chains and call them connection. But the moment you detach, truly detach, not fake it, not perform it, but stop giving your emotional energy away, you rise above them. Instantly, you become unreadable, unreachable, untouchable. Control begins with mystery, and mystery is born from emotional distance. When you care less, people start to panic. They crave your attention, your response, your approval, because now they can't read you, they can't predict you, and uncertainty makes them desperate. You reverse the dynamic. They chase, you choose. They speak, you listen. They react, you remain still. If you want to rule, never let your heartbeat run faster than your strategy. The one who cares less always dominates the one who cares more, because emotion is leverage. It's the rope by which others pull you. The man who needs nothing cannot be seduced, guilted, or manipulated. That's power. So what should you do? Withdraw, but not completely. Stay close enough to tempt, far enough to torment. Offer a spark of warmth, then freeze. Make your presence rare. Make your silence loud. Let people project their fantasies onto you, then watch as they unravel in pursuit of something you never promised. They'll call you cruel. Let them. They'll say you're cold. Smile. They'll say you lack empathy. Good. The lion doesn't pity the lamb. The storm doesn't apologize for drowning the weak. Real power is never earned through being loved. It's taken by being feared, desired, and never fully known. When you care too much, your enemies can smell it. They know exactly where to strike, how to guilt you, how to make you chase closure or over-explain yourself. But when you care less, they panic. They beg, they spiral. They reveal everything while you reveal nothing. This isn't about being heartless. It's about being strategic. Detachment is not apathy, it's discipline. You still see, still think, still feel, but you don't attach. You don't invest more than you can afford to lose. You never hand your peace to someone else. When you're indifferent, you're unpredictable. And when you're unpredictable, you're dangerous. Danger makes people respect you. Fear losing you. Obey you. So stop chasing. Stop explaining. Stop justifying. Stand still. Let them come to you. Because the one who cares less doesn't just survive. He conquers. Kings aren't crowned for compassion. They're crowned for control. And control is born in indifference. Emotional detachment isn't coldness. It's calculation. It's not the absence of feeling. It's the mastery of it. The powerful man doesn't show emotion because he knows emotion gives away his strategy. Once your feelings are visible, they can be weaponized. The manipulator doesn't smile because you're strong. He smiles because you're transparent. Predictable men are easy to control. The battlefield of life doesn't reward emotional honesty. It rewards emotional restraint. They don't respect your vulnerability. They record it. They don't value your openness. They analyze it. Every outburst, every confession, every moment of desperation, it's data. Data they'll use against you. So remember, the one who cares less leads more. The one who stays silent controls the room. And the one who observes instead of reacts commands everything. The man who controls his emotions controls the pace of every interaction. He decides when to engage, when to withdraw, and when to strike. Because nothing can be used against the man who remains unreadable. You must learn to respond, not react. Most people react to everything. Words, insults, praise, silence. They let every tone shift, every opinion, every whisper pull them off center. But reaction is slavery. Response is sovereignty. The powerful man sees the insult, but doesn't flinch. He hears the lie, but doesn't correct it. He senses the chaos, but remains still. And that stillness unnerves people. It creates psychological distance, and that distance is power. In any arena, relationships, business, politics, the same law applies. The less you invest emotionally, the more leverage you hold. If they cry and you stay calm, they spiral. If they rage and you remain silent, they crumble. If they ignore you and you don't chase, they question their worth. Your ability to remain unbothered becomes your greatest weapon. This isn't about being emotionless. It's about being selective. You choose what enters your heart. You decide what deserves your reaction. Because most people are addicted to connection, to explaining themselves, to proving their point, to being liked. The man of power, he withholds. He listens more than he speaks. He lets silence work for him. Silence is a weapon. Indifference is armor. Detachment is strategy. These are not signs of weakness. They are the tools of rulers, conquerors, and kings. People chase what they can't have. They respect what doesn't beg. They obey what they cannot predict. When you become emotionally economical, when you stop giving your reactions away for free, you become a mystery. And mystery, my friend, is dangerous because no one knows where to aim. Look closely at the most respected men in history. They aren't loud. They don't overshare. They speak less. They smile less. They care less. And that absence of emotional need, that restraint, turns them into gravitational centers. Others orbit around them. The weak revolve around the strong. The needy revolve around the disciplined. The man who learns detachment doesn't orbit anyone. He becomes the axis, the center. And yes, the world will try to shame you for it. They'll call you distant, cold, unfeeling. Let them. Their criticism is proof that you're becoming powerful, because the emotional man is easy to control. His feelings are his leash, but your emotions, your silence, are your weapons. Draw them only when necessary. In a world begging for attention, the one who withholds it controls it. They'll call you heartless, detached, arrogant, but they'll miss the truth. Detachment is the throne upon which power sits. The man who cares less isn't bitter. He's focused. He's immune to emotional puppeteers. He moves through chaos with clarity. Let others feel. Let others bleed. You watch. You learn. Watch how easily people are controlled when their hearts override their minds. If you want to know who holds power in any room, look for the one who doesn't flinch when others panic, the one who doesn't chase when others withdraw, the one who stays still while others beg. That man is untouchable. That man leads. To lead, you must first silence the need to be accepted. When you care too much, you hand others the remote to your emotions. You place your peace in their hands, and once they realize that, they own you. You become a puppet dancing to their approval. But the man who doesn't react, who can walk away instead of argue, rewrites the entire script. He becomes the storm that can't be predicted. Most men fail not because they lack strength, but because they crave affection. They want to be liked, understood, forgiven. Fools. Power is not earned through kindness. It's earned through mystery, through silence, through never revealing what rattles you, excites you, or breaks you. To care less is not to abandon your humanity. It's to master it. Think of two warriors. One fights for glory, desperate to be seen, praised, admired. The other fights only to survive calm, centered, silent. Who's more dangerous? The one fighting for applause dies first. The one who needs nothing outlasts them all. Your life is a battlefield. Stop fighting for attention. Fight for control. Play the game as if approval means nothing. Play as if victory is real only when earned in solitude. Detachment isn't the absence of emotion. It's the presence of discipline. Emotional control isn't weakness. It's weaponry. Feel, but never reveal. Let them think you don't care. Let them underestimate you. Because while they drown in emotion, you stand still in power. Your woman may leave. Your friend may betray you. Your rivals may plot behind your back. And still, you do not flinch. You do not collapse. You do not beg. You nod. You walk forward. Because silence, your silence, is more terrifying than 1,000 screams. There's something haunting about a man who doesn't react. In a world addicted to noise, drama, and emotional fireworks, he becomes an anomaly, the ghost in the room. People will try to provoke you, just to prove that they matter. They'll insult you, test you, push you, not because they hate you, but because they need your reaction to feel real. Deny them that privilege. When they insult you, smile. When they threaten you, blink. When they beg for a reaction, give them none. That's how the powerful speak with silence. To be feared is simple. To be loved is common. But to be respected without ever raising your voice, that's an art. That's the art of detachment. Those who fear losing you will cling tighter. Those who know you can't be moved will fall in line. The man who can walk away from anything wealth, love, reputation, becomes the man everyone chases. Because his power isn't in his possessions. It's in his mind. So stop caring about who likes you. Start caring about who fears losing your presence. Stop chasing apologies, closure, or understanding. Start mastering your indifference, your calmness under fire, your silence in betrayal. That is control. That is power. And in this world, the one who controls more wins. Here lies your greatest test. Relationships. Romantic, familial, social. These are the places where even the strongest men fall. Not on the battlefield, but in the bedroom. Not by the sword, but by affection wrapped in illusion. You think love is pure? It's not. Love is war-wearing perfume. And in love, the one who cares less always wins. They'll tell you to give your heart, to open up, to communicate. But those are not strategies, they are traps. In every relationship, someone holds the leash, and it's never the one who shows their cards first. The one who waits, the one who observes, the one who listens more than he confesses. That's the one who holds control. You must be that man. Master emotional distance even when you're physically close. Because you can't be manipulated if you don't need them. Dependency breeds weakness. Once you need affection, validation, or attention, you've already surrendered the throne. That's how they control you, not with chains, but with comfort. Not with force, but with your desire to be loved. They'll use soft words, promises of forever, declarations of loyalty. And when you believe them, they own you. But the man who knows love can be a weapon stays free. He loves, but he doesn't depend. He connects, but he doesn't attach. He walks when needed, and when he does, they break. Your strength lies in your ability to say no, not just to your enemies, but to the people you love. They'll test you. They'll ask for sacrifices, small compromises, pieces of your soul in exchange for peace. Decline calmly, without anger. Not to hurt them, but to preserve yourself. You weren't born to live in someone else's comfort. You were born to rule your own reality. And if that makes you cold, so be it. Ice is harder than fire. Think of the serpent. It doesn't roar. It doesn't chase. It waits. It strikes only when necessary. You must become like the serpent, quiet, calculating, unreadable. Never over-explain. Never justify your silence, your absence, your ambition. The more they understand you, the easier you are to control. Remain a mystery even to those closest to you. And when betrayal inevitably comes, show no reaction. That's the moment of truth. They'll expect rage. They'll expect begging, accusations, a display of pain. Deny them all of it. Say nothing. Walk away. That silence will haunt them longer than any words ever could. Because true power isn't revenge. It's indifference. Revenge is emotional. Indifference is divine. When others are driven by their hearts, you must be led by your mind. That's how you stay 10 steps ahead. Emotions make people impulsive, predictable, weak. You must be none of those things. Don't chase closure. Don't seek validation. Don't explain your value. Exist. Unbothered, unattached, untouchable. That isn't cruelty. That's survival. Stop romanticizing connection. Connection isn't sacred, it's a tool. Use it, but don't worship it. Be capable of love, yes, but only from a position of power. Give affection, not your core. Be kind, but never available. Listen, but never reveal. Because the moment someone feels they have access to your soul, they'll try to shape it for their benefit. You must become a fortress, strong on the outside, silent on the inside. Impenetrable, detached, disciplined. Your worth isn't in your ability to please others. It's in your refusal to be controlled by them. And when people realize they can't mold you, that they can't move you, they'll do one of two things. They'll fear you, or they'll worship you. Both are acceptable. Let this be your creed. Never let love make you weak. Never let friendship dull your edge. Never let tears pull you off your path. You are not a therapist. You are not a savior. You are a strategist. And in this grand game of power, those who stay emotionally neutral dominate those who drown in sentiment. The man who cares less can never be lost, because he's never attached. And the one who cannot be owned cannot be broken. Control is not granted. It is taken. And it's taken not by those who beg to be understood, but by those who can remain silent while others scream. The one who can walk away without hesitation. That's the man who commands respect. The one who can starve his emotions while the world feeds him poison wrapped in affection. That's the man who wins. They'll call you arrogant, unreachable, cold. Let them. Weak men need warmth to function. Powerful men generate their own fire. They don't seek comfort. They create tension. They don't submit to the need for closure or approval. They write their own narrative, one in which they are always in control. Do you see now why the man who cares less always wins? Because he refuses to let his inner world be ruled by outer chaos. The storm may rage around him, but inside, he remains calm, focused, untouched. That's what makes people fear him. He cannot be moved. Look around you. Those who command true respect aren't chasing connection. They're too rare to reach, too disciplined to play emotional games. They aren't mirrors, they're walls. You don't look into them, you collide with them. Here's the brutal paradox. When you care less, people care more. They're magnetized by your silence. They chase your attention. They obsess over your indifference. Why? Because most people are addicted to being needed. They crave importance. When you strip them of that illusion, they panic. They try harder. They give more. They beg for what you no longer offer. And you don't move. You let them exhaust themselves in your orbit while you stay centered, grounded, and free. Freedom is the ultimate form of power. To achieve it, you must become emotionally sovereign, untouchable, unprovoked, self-contained. No one should be able to trigger you. No one should be able to bait you. No one should be able to manipulate you. Your detachment is your armor. Your ability to walk away is your sword. Your silence, your crown. Stop explaining yourself. Stop justifying your distance, your ambition, your solitude. Most people won't understand you, and they're not meant to. Let them gossip. Let them doubt. Let them misinterpret. You weren't born to be liked. You were born to be respected. Control isn't about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself. Can you delay gratification? Can you say no when everyone expects yes? Can you choose discipline over emotion, future over impulse, power over pleasure? If you can, you don't just win. You dominate. Detachment isn't emptiness, it's intelligence. It's the realization that nothing is permanent, not their love, not their hate. You stop riding emotional roller coasters and start building your own empire on still ground. Let others chase. You choose. Let others beg. You walk. Be the one who cares less, not because you're cold, but because you're focused. Because you've seen what caring too much does. It weakens, it blinds, it chains, and you were never meant to be anyone's slave, not even to your own emotions. Rise above, detach, observe, control. That is the Machiavellian way, ruthless, strategic, supreme. Now we come to the final lesson, the hardest one to live, but the only one that truly sets you free. Because the moment you begin to care less, something profound happens. The noise around you fades. The chaos loses its grip. The world, which once dictated your worth, starts to orbit you instead of the other way around. Most people spend their entire lives reacting to rejection, to praise, to guilt, to fear. They're like puppets dancing to invisible strings, each pulled by someone else's opinion. But you're not here to dance. You're here to cut the strings. When you stop caring who understands you, you become incomprehensible. When you stop caring who approves of you, you become untouchable. And when you stop caring who stays or leaves, you become unbreakable. That is what it means to be sovereign, to own yourself fully, without apology or permission. Look closely at how the world operates. Everyone is busy seeking validation, trading their dignity for attention, handing out access to anyone who asks nicely. They think connection makes them strong, but it makes them predictable. It makes them controllable. They don't realize that every emotional outburst, every attempt to prove themselves, every desperate need to be liked is a confession of weakness. It tells others where to strike. But the man who has mastered indifference? He gives nothing away. His silence becomes a fortress. His restraint, a riddle. People can't get a read on him, and that mystery becomes magnetic. You see, indifference doesn't make you invisible. It makes you impossible to replace. Because when you're not reacting, they're forced to. When you're calm, they panic. When you're gone, they ache. When you withdraw, they follow. It's not magic. It's psychology. Humans crave certainty. When they can't predict you, they obsess over you. When they can't control you, they try to win you back. And that chase, that confusion, becomes your leverage. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. The man who cannot be moved controls those who cannot stand still. The world is full of people terrified of silence, terrified of being ignored, terrified of being left alone with themselves. That fear makes them pliable. You must never share it. Your detachment is not cruelty. It's clarity. It's seeing people for what they are, not what they promise to be. It's loving with awareness, not blindness. It's giving, but never surrendering. And yes, it will cost you. Detachment isn't without sacrifice. You'll lose people. You'll lose comfort. You'll lose the illusion that you can save anyone. But what you'll gain is far greater peace that no one can touch. Because when you no longer depend on others to feel whole, you become infinite. You stop chasing closure. You stop explaining your value. You stop lowering your standards to fit into shallow hearts. You begin to see through manipulation like glass. And soon, you realize something even deeper. That control has never been about dominating others. It's been about mastering your inner state. The world can betray you, misunderstand you, slander you, abandon you. But if your center stays calm, none of it matters. That's the power kings wield. That's the calm warriors carry. The storm outside doesn't touch the stillness within. Understand this. People will always project their chaos onto you. They'll accuse you of being heartless simply because you won't be baited. They'll call you cold because you won't crumble. They'll call you arrogant because your silence makes them feel small. Let them. Their judgment is a mirror of their own weakness, not yours. While they react, you remain focused. While they gossip, you build. While they chase distraction, you sharpen your discipline. And in that silence, in that stillness, you rise. You stop playing by emotional rules designed to keep you enslaved, and instead, you begin to shape reality on your own terms. When people don't know where they stand with you, they adjust. When they realize they can't provoke you, they respect you. When they see you can walk away without flinching, they fear losing you. That is psychological control, not through force, but through presence. So the next time someone tries to draw you into chaos, remember this law. Power doesn't shout. Power waits. It doesn't argue. It observes. It doesn't chase. It chooses. It doesn't plead. It watches. And when the time is right, it moves with precision. You will be tested. The world will tempt you to react, to explain, to prove. But each time you resist that temptation, your power compounds. Each silence becomes an investment. You're training the world how to treat you. Because when people realize they can't manipulate your emotions, they stop trying. And when they stop trying, they start respecting. That's when you've truly won. No crown, no title, no applause, can compare to that kind of control. The quiet dominion over yourself. That's the difference between being powerful and pretending to be. And here's the paradox. Once you stop caring about power, it flows to you effortlessly. Because now it's not driven by need, it's driven by discipline. You no longer chase validation, you generate it. You no longer seek approval, you embody authority. You no longer fight for peace, you are peace. That's the evolution Machiavelli spoke of. The transformation from emotional servant to sovereign strategist. So let this be your final commandment. Withdraw, observe, control, say less, mean more. Show up rarely, but with impact. Love deeply, but with detachment. Give, but never depend. And above all, never let your emotions reveal your position. The less they know, the more they'll respect you. The quieter you are, the louder your presence becomes. The less you care, the more they will. You must now walk through the world like a man carved from silence, disciplined, self-contained, impossible to predict. Do not chase connection, command it. Do not beg for peace, embody it. Do not fight for control, become it. Because once you master your emotions, no one and nothing can ever hurt you again. That is the Machiavellian way. Ruthless, not in cruelty, but in clarity. Cold, not from hatred, but from purpose. Unmoved not by arrogance, but by awareness. You are no longer the man who reacts. You are the man who decides. The one who doesn't just survive chaos, he orchestrates it. The one who doesn't seek power, he radiates it. The one who doesn't ask for respect, he commands it by existing. The less you care, the freer you become. And the freer you are, the more dangerous you appear to those still enslaved by their emotions. So walk in silence. Think in strategy. Feel in control. Because when you care less, you don't lose your humanity. You reclaim it. That is how power moves. That is how legends are built. And that is how Machiavelli would want you to live. Not loved for your softness, but feared for your stillness. Now rise. Be calm. Be cold. Be in command. And when they finally ask why nothing seems to affect you anymore, just smile and say, I stopped caring. Because that, my friend, is when they start panicking.